quite an interesting week. Of course, we are still in Chan Championship, of course, and we are happy for our stars, Harambee stars. This is only pride of Kenya this time around. Eh? Igwe. Ladies and gentlemen.
What is Igwe?
Igwe is a Nigerian thing of a hail chief. Hail chief.
Yes.
Dr. C, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dr. C, and I am here to represent Samantha Wines. Today we are enjoying the rosé.
Right here.
Simon, what do you think of it?
Oh, yeah, you see, I've drunk most of it, so you must know that I'm enjoying it to the fullest.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So, soon to be another pride of Kenya. It is already a pride. It's a made in Kenya brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, you know what I was thinking? Every week, should we have just unsolicited, a made in Kenya? We give a shout out for them. The other day I was talking about Vivo. Yeah, today I'm going to shout out from Samantha Wines.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
That's nice.
And I'm Maria, and I will always encourage people to buy Kenya. Like, this is how we build the economy. This is how you help some of the people from being beggars. This is actually how you build brands that last. One day you want to hear someone saying that there is Maria Designs out there and it's something that goes to the Met Gala. Yeah, I'm really hopeful, but I'm not a fashion designer. I'm an author and I love being on the show.
True, and in case you want to buy Kenya, you can also buy my voice. I am someone who actually now adds life to your brand, like every single week, as I add even life even to Samantha's even Wines every single day, every single time that you see me here on Let's Be Real. So as we keep it real, we're going to start with our first topic at the top. What's up, CEO?
Oh, it's my favorite.
It's your favorite topic?
My pet project, of course, is always about debt, sustainability. You remember I was in Germany to talk about sustainability and moderate. So I like issues of debt because of my background, my schooling, of course, my university degree is in account and economics. So,
okay.
Wow.
Money.
And then you ended up editing Kenya's most scandalous magazine,
can you imagine?
the Nairobian.
I've edited, I've done all those things.
Okay.
But my education pedigree is A1.
Yeah, clearly we see that, right?
Clearly. Go ahead.
So now let's talk about the Kenyan debt distress. We looked at, currently we owe the Chinese, I think, almost 1 trillion shillings. That's minus the Western debt, what we call the development debt, where for roads, the railway, for every 1 shilling we earn, 6 or 7 shilling goes to repay our debts in Kenya. So you can see where we are. If you look at the amount of money we earn and the debt repayment which we owe bilateral players. And on top of that, Kenya owes the World Bank and IMF close to 1.2 trillion of money, which has been for development. I don't know what's your take, guys, but you have good roads, you have the railway.
But we also have odious debt. We have some odious debt also. There's also some odious debt in the sense that even the senator, he was even sued even the former president, Kenyatta, and was even suing the current president of odious debt. And what do I mean by odious debt? In the sense that this debt is primarily taken on by lawmakers on behalf of Kenyan citizenry, but not necessarily audited and put for the Kenyan citizen, or even put in the proper, auditing measures, and hence it's not been actually used properly, and hence there's odious debt that Kenyans are actually even incurring that is not actually benefiting us directly, but it's taken on behalf of us and not necessarily even utilized for our benefit. That's even what even Umtata, said he's one who's actually now filed Umtata, who's filed a case actually against the former president and also even against the current president because of odious debt. So there's also even that, we need to put that in there, because not necessarily all this debt that will even put out there in the public. Necessarily, there's a lot of debt that we've already even paid back, but there's also debt that's even being incurred, but not necessarily utilized for the benefit for us, but it's taken on behalf of who?
Kenyans.
Exactly. Now to see you had something on your edge of your tongue you wanted to say. Go ahead. I could see you're just itching. Go ahead.
Yeah. So more or less like what you want to say, so I'm happy you actually brought it out. And I'm just, other than, the Kenyan courts will deliberate on that.
Yes, exactly.
But I'm thinking there has to be an international court where all these institutions have to be taken to. Because if you're going to release money, yeah, and if you're in business like myself, you know that by that, there's one thing for a bank to say that we have approved the debt. And yes, these are the securities you're offering. And it's another thing for them to disburse the money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, disbursal of money from an ordinary Kenyan bank it can even take 3 months. It takes so long because the due process is going through other than the initial due process. So I'm just wondering, for the World Bank and IMF, for them to just release money to Kenya, yeah? And they don't even care where this money is going to, surely they must take responsibility. I don't even think this matter should be, the one Okiya Omtata has put in the court, should be heard here. I think there has to be not just an international criminal court law, there has to be an international finance something law where we can take this. But anyway, by that said, I think the world is going through a reset. Trump did what he did, and I see that we are trying to adopt a different way of working. And initially, you know the funny thing is that when our president took over, when the world was actually listening to him, and he was talking about the unfairness in the terms of when the money is actually loaned to us, the terms are so unfair and so outrageous that there has to be a reset. So I'm hoping so that we can really reach there. But otherwise, with the world resetting, I'm in that point where we can just tell IMF, you didn't deal with us, you didn't even consult us as Kenyans, so you go behind the tent and deal with the people you gave the money to, but we as Kenyans refuse to take responsibility. Yeah, we refuse.
It's not my debt?
Yeah, we refuse. We, the people.
Yes.
We, the people. Article 1, refuse.
To pay this debt.
Yeah, because we petitioned you, we did.
Exactly.
Okay, that is such a pedestrian view. And
no, but I don't mind
I'm still stuck at his pedigree of education. Obviously, it's going to put all this in perspective, but that's my pedestrian view.
So if that's possible, then it means my child will not be owning or be having a debt.
Oh, right now they owe.
Right now, I'm scared of even getting pregnant because I'm going to bring someone to debt.
But you know what? Sorry to interrupt you. You know, one of the things I've always told with, I've always been like, so we calculate how much everybody owes. And then some of us, we just pay off what we owe. Now, to watch it.
But that would be helpful. Actually, that's one way that we can do it.
Yeah.
That's one way we can do it.
Yeah, we say that we owe
because you can find that, Simon,
but we the poor people.
No, imagine they tell you. No. Imagine they say if everyone gives 3,000 shillings,
yeah,
debt is done. Done and done.
That is done and done.
Because let me tell you something. We need to be self-sustainable. We don't need to have to be in the books all the time.
But I never took this debt in the first place.
That's the point.
Okay,
yes.
You are Kenyan.
Wait, it's as if because I was birthed into this family, I now take all of your debts as were mine, and then you don't know who took them.
Even as we inherited. Now we want to say we want to stop this curse. We call it
because
curse,
if
right?
we don't stop it, they will still be borrowing,
yeah,
and our debt will be going high.
Yes.
But if you calculate today, tell us today, give us a month, we are done with paying.
Yes.
Don't go again. Let us be self-sustainable.
Yes.
That's a way that we can go about it and it will work. Yeah. Rather than go take again, now even the unborn children have a debt.
Yes.
Calculate, tell us.
We
ask 3,000, 4,000 from me.
See you. I'm not paying.
Simon, you are still not a dad, your kids will come to debt.
See you.
Funnily enough, that, and I'll just speak from where Dr. C has just left it, about the financial architecture, the world. We are talking about the financial world architecture,
yes,
which is not fair.
Clearly.
Because what happens is that, and we looked at it, one of the reasons we were in Germany is to talk about how do we, and my topic was on the financial world architecture and how we need to change it. Mm-hmm. President Ruto has talked about financial world architecture, but he does not, he talks with a double tongue. That's my problem with him, is that it is true the rich countries borrow from the World Bank at a lower rate than the developing nations. Now, Kenya is in the second category we call the emerging
Economies.
economies, EMCDs. They are better than the people we call the low-income countries, ILCs, which Tanzania is. Now, if you borrow money from like the World Bank, Tanzania will pay lesser because it's in LIC, and Kenya will pay with a higher rate because of the financial architecture.
What?
I'm just breaking it down. But we are saying Kenya can support its loans if it uses its loans in the right way.
Say that again. I need to
You
hear it.
understand?
Yes.
We stop borrowing money to pay salaries, number one. You can't borrow to consume. Unless you are a mad person. And that's where our madness is. That we borrow money from the World Bank to pay civil service. So the money, and the Dr. C talked about the frameworks. In the World Bank, there's something we call the Debt Sustainability Framework, the DFS, the DSFs. They are clearly stipulated how the rule of how you borrow and how you pay. The structure is that if Kenya borrows money today, there's an interest rate to be paid, and you can opt to pay the interest rate before the principal, or you can pay them together. Now, the problem is Kenya borrows, does not pay. They go and borrow another money to pay the interest rate on the borrowed, the other financial previous one. And then we go and do what they do the very best, what you are calling the odious debt. You go, float it in the world markets to buy, and then what happens? Someone, that money does not even leave Cayman account. I remember the last one did nothing. And if you look at that money, and it was Uhuru's time, they floated the money and the money never reached Kenya. And they were in billions.
Gosh.
So the problem of Kenya is not that we are borrowing debt. The problem is that money does not even reach the intended purpose. And if it reaches the shores of the Kenyan Republic, it is used to pay the salaries, which as consumables, and it is for development. So you end up not doing development because the Chinese money is so string attached that if they give you money, they tell you, okay, I'll build for you that road. How much is it? 10 billion. That's why you're seeing those roads.
Because they did it themselves.
They do it themselves. They tell you, oh, you wanted a loan of how much, Simon? 50 billion. Yes, it's okay, we'll give you. But you don't see the money. They tell you, see, wewe unataka barabara.
I'll give you the road.
So I'll give you the road. But the Western world, their problem is they don't give you, they give you cash, which is stolen. Then we can't pay.
Yeah. And that's what happens to audience
And that's
debt.
where our problem is.
That's the audience debt now I was talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah. You're telling us now, you want me to now pay the debt?
Yeah, it's okay so that they not borrow again. Tell them now if you need to have land,
No
save up
country,
for
no
it.
country can develop without borrowing.
But what about
But you
this
see,
idea
it's
we said,
too much slavery.
Tuambiwe,
Good point.
how much do we
Hey.
owe? Yeah, from an
We actually
economist
don't
point
know.
of what
Let me even say this. This even for
yeah,
fact.
they just tell us how much we owe to Alipe.
We actually do not know the exact figure of actually how much, not only how much we
that's the
paid,
point.
how much
How much
even
we
we
owe.
owe.
We don't.
We actually don't know. That is the fact, and that's now where, you see that gray area? That's now where audience debt and actually other expenses or other now frivolous money gets exchanged here and there, and people steal because you don't even know the total amount and actually how much even we've paid. We do not know at this moment in time. That's what even Omtata is even going to court to make sure that even we know the amount, how much is owed, and how much we actually have paid so far. Now to see
But
what's
how can we invoke, this is a question to you, how can we invoke Article 1, we the people? Tumesema tumekata.
one time.
How can we invoke
We the people did not go to China,
How
Dr.
can we,
Singh.
the three questions. How can we invoke Article 1? We don't want. Number 2, is it possible watuambie how much we owe all of us? Wenye tunawezana tulipe tuachane na hii maneno.
You can't.
Tutokeleze. Number 3, how can we make IMF and World Bank irresponsible, culpable for
They're actually
sending
involved.
money to the wrong place. That's what, yes.
They're actually involved in the lawsuit, actually.
Yeah,
They're actually
because
involved in the lawsuit.
why would they do that? Why
That's
would
the
they
thing.
send money
Yeah.
to the... by the way, for many people who've ever listened to me, to some of my interviews, I worked for the European Union. It means I was on the side of I was in charge of the European taxpayers' money, the projects I was in charge of. So we had a different level of accountability and project appraisals, and we made sure those projects actually, because this was the taxpayers' money. And I remember my boss always telling me and showing me all the white elephants. That's even where I learned the word white elephant. The white elephant of projects that were being run by the World Bank. Because the World Bank gives you money, whether you do it or not, just pay me. And that's the difference.
True.
Yeah? So, these three questions I've asked, with your pedigree of education.
See,
please.
first of all, the world is unequal and is uneven. The white man has to control the world through finance. You're controlled through education and finance. So they will not allow you. Those, when you're saying that there's a stringent measure, they're stringent, but to benefit who?
Them.
Them.
So how can we invoke, we the people?
So for you to invoke you the people,
Yes.
Use your KOT and tell World Bank off.
But we've tried and they are not listening.
They will listen. You see, the biggest problem we have as a country is that we borrow money and Kenyans do not participate in saying, hiyo pesa mnapeleka wapi? You understand?
And how much?
And how much?
But is KOT a legally authorized, legalized something?
see,
When
the
you put
only way-
people in power, they are going to represent you. That's what
Which
people
is
need to understand
true.
about their vote. They're going to vote, they're going to take money on your behalf. Your
Which-
200
but-
munakula.
Yeah, but that's what I'm telling you. If you can't change the people, you can't vote them out and vote people who have credible characters in parliament, then you're going to be in that system.
Even Dr. C, don't even be shocked. Even we're shocked even by some of these influencers on Instagram. What are they doing? Will you tell us what's going on? What are they doing over here?
I'm stuck at with the people.
Yes. Even us, the people, we do some of this madness, don't
So
we?
you know it is these TikTokers. When you see them flaunting and doing all these things, fake life, yeah? Partly it's because it's survival. Yeah?
For
It's
the, for the unfittest.
the unfittest. Anyway, so this week, I honestly, I just have to say, I saw one of my friends, my dear friends, actually come up and talk something about a Land Rover that they were unveiling and all that. And it turned out, actually, the story that we were given was not true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to go into the details. You can check out Sarah Kabu's story. They are both my friends. The husband and the wife, they're my friends and they're my business partners. And even in the past, we've seen other social media influencers give a different part of the story. And yet, we are calling it the glam for gram. So some of them turn out to be not authentic in the way they are telling their stories. They make people believe something else. And let me start by chiming in first why this is really important to talk about. Because internationally, but even locally in Kenya here, we have established means in which you can endorse products. So while there is the question we are asking is, should social media influencers be compelled to actually reveal whether they are telling the true story or not? And reveal, that's the argument we're having today. I want us to talk about that. And why is this important? Because when you look at the laws of Kenya and even other international laws, there is nowhere really, truly that is compelling you to disclose whether it is true or not true. But when you look at the social media networks, if you are endorsing a product, you are legally, and your account can actually be struck out. You're supposed to say this is a collaboration. But also, on an ethical point of view, I think these social media influencers owe us. They owe us, and even to themselves. Because part of being influenced is people are buying into you and you're being authentic. They are buying into your authenticity. So you lose out when people discover whatever you're telling them is not true. Yeah? So you lose that connection with your clients. But also, not only do you lose that, you are making your clients mentally, the mental influence you're then putting your clients in is not good. Because then people are living on the edge, thinking, oh, I must have failed. And many of the viewers, yeah, and a lot of us, you look at, okay, where am I? Am I the only one complaining about the economy or what? I found sometimes myself asking myself that. You see people unveiling this new car, I don't know, doing what. Nasema acha nijitume, itabidi, all those things. So the question we are saying, should these people really be compelled?
Maria.
I will start by saying, by the virtue that in Kenya, mostly we do not have guidelines on these influencers, is one problem. But at the same time, let's be realistic. If this is the way they are making money, let them make money. The ones who are watching should know one thing. If they tell you this dress is beautiful, go buy it, and it's 20,000, 98% of the time they did not buy it, they are wearing it and returning it tomorrow for them to come and wear another one for another different brand. So sometimes do not copy things you see online because they are all actually meant for, someone is just talking because of you, like the numbers. That is why they do not ask who is watching, they ask how many followers do you have. Businesses come with how many followers do you have? What is your algorithm? What is your, show me across all platforms, the age group of people who are watching you. That is what businesses are looking for. So you find that sometimes you are not even the age group that is majority, but you are the one who is influenced the most. And social media is the one reason why people are going to be led into depression, because you go there and see things that are not true. Let me tell you something. Hard-earned money, you've worked on your money and you've struggled to make that money. You are not going to flaunt fake. You are actually not going to flaunt fake. If you really work for that money and you really have the money. And that is why you find that the old money, like people who are rich for genuine reason and real reason that they are rich, they are cool, calm. You don't see them telling you, I'll do this or I did this. The rest is showbiz. I'm buying this car because if I show you I have this car, this brand and this brand will be interested in changing my tire or painting my car for free or doing all those things is showbiz. So a lot of Kenyans have been influenced so much by showbiz, not knowing that you are richer than actually the influencer, because they will tell you buy the dress, you will use your money to buy the dress. They actually returned the one they wore yesterday and maybe it's the one you bought today.
I want to say something about the dresses.
Think about it.
This is almost like, I remember I was on KTN with your friend who grows garlic. This dress, I say, you know, this is the thing about even especially women. That's why they're really getting behind. They have to buy a new dress all the time. Repeat a dress like me.
I always repeat.
Yeah, this I think is almost the 5th time I'm on KTN in this dress. KTN alone. I've been on other platforms. This jacket alone. It means it's mine. So there's no problem repeating. That's one of the ways you can actually show old money. And I know young people these days are obsessed with the aesthetics
of
old money.
Yeah,
it's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend.
It's a big trend now.
But a big thing, one thing I would say is never put your influencer of a higher pedestal than even your own pastor. And in one thing, and that's also one thing. And don't try to actually now start saying that indeed the influencer should have more ethics and a moral compass than even your own pastor or even yourself. So it's your fault if you actually even fall prey to any of this. First things first, whoever it is that you're following on Instagram, whoever it is, don't knock it on the hustle that you've become manipulated thinking that indeed that's the way you're supposed to live life. Yoni, wewe. And that is what you have actually now acclimated to. If you're focused on the aesthetics of things rather than the content of things, you are prey. And we're gonna find a way to eat you up. Not only you, and also your money. And that is what we're gonna do. Now there's also this. If we actually now want to now recognize that indeed, because I follow this individual and I recognize their way of life and they are putting on this particular product, you can now not necessarily say, oh, I blame you for influencing me to go get that particular product and it's done this to me. You can actually even sue maybe the brand itself, not necessarily even the influence. You can actually even do that. There's aspects to it, depending on which kind of particular product it is. you know, if you're actually now selling alcohol to like younger people, you cannot necessarily do that. You have to sell it to a specific audience. But there are terms and conditions even how influencers should engage. But never put a higher pedestal on your influencer and on a moral compass than even your own pastor. And when it comes to now influencers, if you want to grow even your numbers and even selling, maybe you become a brand and everything, go ahead and sell the lie, construct it. And here's what I mean. And construct the lie even that people want to consume. But now, be prepared to live in that lie. There's a way you can even live in your lie till it becomes true. And now, what you can actually now do is, now, if you want to now make sure that even you want to hire a certain dress, and then now influencing people to quote unquote buy that dress. You have not bought the dress, but you like it. But at the same time, several people even now you can reach agreement with the brand and then say that indeed, if these many people come, I get this dress for free. Bam, you actually are the owner of the dress, and hence you're actually living your truth because you actually now own the dress that you were advertising. And if you actually want to grow even your certain audience, there's an unethical way to execute something good. You don't always have to do the wrong thing the wrong way. You can do the wrong thing the right way. All right? There's a right way to do a wrong thing. And now, when you actually now execute this, you then have to make sure, and numbers is not the only things that business people are looking for. Okay? They're also looking for even niche audiences. Who is actually paying attention to you, Simon? When you speak, is it the ladies paying attention to you? Is it men paying attention to you? Who do I want to actually get in front of? That's who they're paying for, and also they're paying for your skill set to make that particular piece of content. Now, when it comes to now the ethical aspect of even selling the lies and everything, sell. Politicians sell lies, sell. And the key thing is, sell your lies better. And at the end, sell your lies as close as it is to the truth. Because you can aesthetically now say, I stay in a certain place, which is maybe just like a road far away from you, but you're close to that place. You stay close. But at the same time, you just spend 1 or 2, but at the same time, you're aspiring to do that. But when you now sell an ethical is, now when you get legality, don't sell illegal things. But you keep it on the legal aspect, but you can still go on the gray area. Play that area. It's unethical, but it's also effective if you know how to do it correctly. All I'm saying is there's a right way to do a wrong thing, but do it correctly. But at the same time, if you're willing to play that gray area, be prepared for the blowback and stand on it. All right? Recognize it and stand on it and say, okay, yes, I did not actually initially own this phone. I initially whatever, because when you stand on your mistake is also when you become credible.
Let's take a short break. We'll be right back on Let's Be Real.
Welcome back, guys. We are still drinking Samantha wines and the discussions are still hot. Still talking about authenticity, not just in advertising, but in
parenting. Let's talk about how authentic are your children as a dad. Oh, wow, that's harsh. Anyway, so DNA, fathers asking for DNA, and we all know that the only person who knows the true genes of the child is the mother. But should fathers be asking for the DNA? Because lately we've seen a lot of incidents whereby a lot of children do not belong to the father who is raising them. And yeah, I get it. Kids can look like their grandfather, like their mother. They can all be dark skin. We are all dark skin and it's okay. So we are related. But should fathers be asking for DNAs? And at what point, like you see, you've raised a child, they've grown, they've loved you, then all of a sudden you're told this is not your child. Should there be something done about that? Like you'll be held accountable for that, because that is a huge emotional toll on both the stepfather and the child. So what do you think, guys?
CEO, you start on this one.
It's very interesting that I'll look at it in two perspectives. The first perspective is that traditionally, if you raise a kid under your roof and the woman is saying it's your kid, even if it's not yours, there are men I know we sit with and we agree, we say that any kid you bring in my house is my kid.
Full stop.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yes.
As men, we say, because women are bound to cheat sometimes, or people will say that any kid you bring into that doorstep and I raise it as my kid will remain my kid. So even if you are a father out there and you did not participate in raising him, you don't come and take my kids then, because have paid school fees, I've taken them to school, I've formed them. You see how you form someone is the knowledge, the imparting, the raising. That's what fatherhood is all about. So there are two schools of thought, traditionally and culturally. If you do that, you say that's your kid. Then there's also another school of thought, which people who say that I want only my blood in my home. You see, these are two different fathers with two different principles. So those are the people who are saying, any kid you get, we must do DNA. But they are in the villages, the people who say, so you think you are smart? Yes. Ula mengia hapa kwangu, ni wangu. And that's it.
Wow.
See, you as a man, I would say something different. I would say, here's what I mean. For me, even I would say, it should be mandatory that every child born should actually do a DNA test and to know who the father is solely even for medical grounds. Because we need to know, because this child, is it Simon's or is it Stephen's? Stephen has a different medical history, Simon has a different medical history. Second thing is this, when it comes to even tracking the biologically even what medical history do they have? What medical history does Stephen have? It's easy to define it and to know definitively, even when it comes to even court cases, or even when it comes to other issues, we know definitively this child is Simon's or this child is Stephen's. It needs to be 100% and to level out the playing field to know that indeed every man also knows this is my child, as much as every woman knows that this is their child. Solely even for that, even as the first instance. Second thing can even be, even if I'm not even part of even that child's life, the fact even that they know that indeed this is my original father, the child may not be raised by the father who they was used to conceive the child, but the fact that the child can know their original place is also key. It does not necessarily devalue the father who actually raised it. It's just to have the knowledge of. Solely for the knowledge of, knowing that indeed this is where I am from. And that is actually important. The fact that it's not mandatory says a lot of things about the fact that either one, why is it not that every child who's actually even born knows definitively, even if it's just a slate of biological father, even now it can just even be written, there's a slot for biological father, then there's a slot of the father who's actually raising them. Even if it's that biological father is even dead or so on and so forth. Because there are many instances in which the father can maybe die or something like that. But the fact that that is there is very important. So I'd even say go for the fact that indeed DNA tests should be there permanently and even should be a legal situation in which every child that's actually born should know that indeed this child, from whence they come from, is this source. Solely for that, even going further for even medical purposes, that in itself is something that's actually even necessary and should actually be considered. Forget even other cheating and other things, even solely for the sole purpose of knowing that indeed this is whence you come from. And even if not where you're raised, that's another whole social journey. But I think that should be something that should be enshrined legally.
Hey, I just have to say this really completely differently. CEO, I'm with you. That, Simon, what you're saying is about overhauling our whole culture.
Not overhauling.
Yes.
That's biology.
So, yeah, it's biology, but we know that Africa has one of the biggest diverse genotypes. Yeah? Yeah, our gene pool is very diverse and it's rich.
DNA is easy. Mouth.
No. What I'm saying, part of it is because of our culture. And actually, there are so many cultures in Kenya where, for as long as a child has been born in that home, culturally, that child belongs there, and there is nothing else you can actually do. And we had other, like if teenage, in case of teenage pregnancies, a child is born And nature had a way of really confirming whether the child belongs to that home or not. In the first 2 weeks, you can clearly tell who is the father. Yeah, mothers, midwives, mothers would go and just check who is the mother, and you would just know. So I think so that, yes, there's science, and what you're saying is true, that, yeah, there's the benefits of actually knowing. But look, how many years Africa has survived. Like, we are here.
Yeah, but you see,
But our cultures have, some cultures have served as well. So, you know, yeah, I think for me, it's not just the biology part of it. Yes, it makes sense. And when a push comes to shove, maybe people will. There are many reasons why people may want to conceal the genetic identity of their children. There are very, very many reasons. It's not just about cheating alone. Cheating is just a very small percentage of it. I think what is important when it comes to fatherhood is about being a father figure. And I think we've had this topic before. And when I've spoken to a couple of legal minds, yes, if you have presented yourself and acted as a father and been as a father figure, there are legal grounds for you to continue as that father figure. As much as the biological father has rights, yeah? Let me just say, not fathers alone, even the biological parent has a right. There are people who adopt and they don't tell their children that the children have been adopted, yeah? Maybe they're adopted when they're really, really young, yeah? And they don't know anything else, yeah? So there are legal grounds when it comes to when you're in the court, yes, and you're arguing about the paternity or the maternity of the child. But I think what matters is, are you a good mother? And are you a good father? By the time you're talking of DNA, obviously that relationship has gone south. There is an issue of somebody lied within the relationship. And it's a broken down relationship. Anyway, it was going to break down. In that case, yes, I think there are legal grounds for people to be compelled. And maybe when there's a medical issue that you don't understand, at that point, then maybe there's need for disclosure. Yeah.
I will only be brief and say this. In all this, I have seen how much all of you are okay with people cheating and getting children outside. For me, it's I hope
No,
that
we're not
child
okay
I hope
with
that
that.
child is not affected in any way. Like, let's raise our children to at least know the truth. But are you going to lie to your children and then one day all of a sudden you've decided, now I want a DNA, when your child is a bit older, when now they're in a point whereby they can question some things? So for the sake of everyone, kindly raise the child in a manner that it will not affect them psychologically as they grow up. We've seen others kill their parents for that. We've seen others go to an extent of bringing issues, family issues, shaming their parents in public. So for your own sake, think of that child too, because as adults, we have free will and all, and we are choosing to cheat.
See, it's not
Choosing
about,
to cheat.
It's not about cheating. I think we are.
It's not about cheating.
It's not about cheating. It's not about kids are born because of cheating. I think would be giving it a very wrong impression out there. We are saying that children happen to people. You might be married today, Maria, and then after 5 years, things don't work out. And you leave your husband. And you end up getting other kids somewhere. There are many reasons why people have...
But then be open with the child.
No, wait. People have blended families for many reasons, from where I sit. Yeah? People have blended families because cheating is only a very small percentage of people who end up cheating out of marriages. Because you are seated here, I don't think Dr. C has a kid elsewhere from somewhere. The percentage you can see, we are Kenyans, we are upright and all that. We're just saying that if this thing happens, then we follow it and you go and do a DNA, because there's a broken system between the two people who met and they're suspecting each other. If your husband starts suspecting you today, atakwambia, Maria, let's do a DNA test to our kids. It's not because the kids are genuinely innocent.
They look like him so much, it will be
Yeah,
insulting.
the kids are always innocent. But we are saying in traditional African way, what used to happen is very simple. If I have 4 kids and one is not mine, and the way they're going to build, the traditional way we knew. There's a big short politician whose son was the firstborn, but was not from him. there's a way in Luo culture, if you're not from the man and you're in his homestead, you don't build on the right side. But they won't chase you. You'll build on the left. There are cultural things which are done.
I understand.
People know. We understand how these things are done, and we see them in our families.
I get you. That's good in theory. Now I have to put it in the context of now. You see, because when you mention even culture is dynamic and it has to be interpreted within the modern context. And that's not something that's necessarily the modern society is something interpreting within our generation. If your child, and if you deceive me in any way, it's a lot more, those situations do happen a lot more because they're highlighted more, because they're egregious, they're highlighted, and then people perceive that this is a common situation. That's why even I'm saying it should be engraved even within law. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Your child came from here. You're what, and that is it. And the thing is, that whole, or you need to find out that the truth will now, no, the truth will solidify trust. Truth exposes lies. And just even that whole, even him asking for DNA, do it. What's stopping you? So you do the DNA test. Truth exposes lies and expels, and it builds trust. And that whole thing of, oh, you don't trust me. Anybody who says, oh, you don't trust me, nini, that's a lie. That's the beginning of a liar. And like even a lot of people who are going out there castigating even Crazy Kenna for the wife that even he chose. Now that's his child. Even that child was as black as him. The child, Crazy Kenna, who actually now go out there and even decided to post a picture of him and his wife, and at the same time, or the lady that he's with, at the same time even celebrating the child and everything. But do you think these people are focusing on the child? No! They decided to flip the tables and expose, and then start talking about even the lady. Saying Crazy Kenna, hey, if she makes you happy, it's okay. And then now, you know what that means? When you bring a girl in the presence of all your boys and they say, eh, and yeah, if she makes you happy, it's all good. So, they were insinuating that indeed she was not up to par to looks as compared to what Crazy Kenna most probably can quote unquote get based on his income or fame, so on and so forth. Before I even give my little input, go ahead and give me your thoughts on that shaming that the social media gave.
We are constantly pressured by the society's idea of what's pretty, forgetting that when someone makes a choice, they were not blind. And for them to stay together and get to that point, they love this person. I don't see why people have an idea of what beauty should look like. I don't understand.
You do. Beauty has to have a standard.
Yeah, it has to have a standard.
It has to have a standard, yes.
Scientific standard of
They're ugly people.
Look, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me tell you something. You see the way, like, let me be honest with you, there's no day that I will ever look myself and call myself ugly. See that person you think is ugly? Yeah. They actually see themselves as very beautiful. So they're not
in
ugly.
a context by themselves.
And there's someone who will love that one. There's someone who will love that person.
Fortunate.
Yes, so it's in the eyes of the beholder. If this beholder chose this one, that is too beautiful, and that is beautiful for them. And for anyone who is shaming something, and it's funny that, weird enough, if you go through what people expect you to have just because of who you are, it doesn't even, why you expect me to have a certain car today, tomorrow you expect me to have a certain house, the other day you expect me to also have a certain person in my life. That doesn't make sense. So for me, for real, for sure, I'll tell you this for a fact, the society's idea of what's pretty is actually not right. People are beautiful, and for you is criticizing them by the virtue that you feel like it's Kenna. If that person was dating someone who is not Kenna, they would not have been ugly. They are only ugly because it's Kenna. They would not have been ugly if it was someone else.
Dr. C?
So I want to talk about the scientific standard of beauty.
Oh, there's a standard. Go ahead.
There is a standard. Actually, a lot of studies have been done, and it has been found. There is a reason why we all fall in love with babies that are like maybe 6 months old.
Yeah.
There's something about a scientific standard. There's symmetry. Here, symmetry. The eyes have to be white. There's a certain distance. Yeah. When you put together the group of, we go to a community, and people tell you, oh, so-and-so was beautiful. So-and-so is beautiful. There's something they tend to have in common when a human eye looks at them. That said, the society has changed a long time, so many times. Where I come from, if you had a gap here, it meant you're beautiful and you fetched more cows. Where I come from, our women, including my mother, was Amazonian.
Meaning?
Amazonia, it means she has these.
leg, yeah.
Like when you walk out, we even have wedding songs, Sena Luanyi. It means like walk, like your mother-in-law must hear you walk. Like when she's sleeping, she has to hear somebody is walking the ground. That's a wedding song. That's the, like, and a woman is most beautiful at the time of her wedding, which is around in her 20-something years, whatever. So there are beauty standards all over. But that said, so when you see, what is a man? Last week, I think we talked about it, about the beauty of a man is the size of his bank account.
Yeah,
so we're
that's
not
true.
going to talk about that guy you're talking about. He's already beautiful because I think he must have some bank account. So therefore, the community will always feel so that we have to marry, we have to find for him a beautiful girl. And because it is the society that is chiming in, yeah, then they'll say what they want to say. But you, viewer who is listening, I don't think looks alone should actually matter. You can get a very beautiful woman, and after 2 weeks, oh my God, she will become so ugly in your eyes because her manners, her hygiene, there's so many things that goes into counting for beauty. You know, there's so many things. So it is not always how it looks like. You have to take everything in context.
See you.
There's a lecturer friend of mine who told me a very interesting story one day. He said that when they were young, they wanted to get married, and there was a very beautiful girl in their compound. And the 4 men really tried their luck, and one became successful and married the girl. So the 3 of them were saying, you are a lucky man. You married the most beautiful woman. You must be the luckiest. After 2 years, the couple divorced.
This is a true story.
Yes. And the guys were like, so why did you leave her? Now the men talked, they were like, Then they realized the woman could not cook. She was pathetic in cooking.
Is that a beauty standard?
Yes.
Listen, men go for art. And this is where I was coming.
The way to a man's heart.
Men choose women differently.
Yes.
Than women.
Than women. Men choose women when they realize you can't cook and make them a good meal. He's gone. It doesn't matter whether you are whoever you are, beauty with all your money and all that. A man's success is only, I need to be fed and given good sex. That's it.
Well, can I, let me
That's
say
it.
something. You
Yes.
know what? Do you know I
Isn't he
have
playing a
man-
part in that
Listen to him.
sense?
Listen to him.
No,
Listen to him.
no, I want to say something that what he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah? It's so funny you say that because me and my husband have a prenuptial agreement.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm just going to say it
Say
to
it.
the world. I don't cook.
At
And
all.
this was written in front of elders. We have a marriage
Why?
contract.
That's his standard.
Because
standard.
growing up, everybody knew I cannot cook. So if you're marrying me to be your cook, sorry. Go on.
But I listen to you. Yeah.
So for us, we know. And for me, if a woman cannot cook,
Problems.
Really?
Can I add
I'm
on?
out.
Oh
Can I
my
add on to you?
gosh.
Let me. Can I
I'm
add on-
out.
Can I add on to your point? Can I add on to your point, please?
yeah, I'm out.
Even just to add on further.
Yeah.
Some of the prettiest girls are only good for one night,
Yeah.
not for a lifetime.
For a lifetime.
There's a difference in which, ladies, I want you to take note of this. Please take note of this, okay? So you can know which lane you're in. All right? Are you the girl that a man asks to go out, or are you the girl that a man has ever introduced to his mom? And are you the girl that men call at a specific time during the day, or are you the girl that a man calls during the night? And you have to know, are you the person that someone wants to even hang out with and sit down calmly? Or are you the person, I only want to meet you outside?
In the club.
Yes, in the club. Because you have to take note of this. When it comes to peace and mental peace, a man will invest where he gets mental peace, and then not necessarily where even for aesthetic purposes. Your ladies are the ones a lot of times focused on aesthetics. We know the kind of women that actually even gets married. That's why your ladies are shocked after dating a lady for so long, we get married in less than 1 month to the lady that we want. Y'all are shocked. We are not. You have to take note of that. y'all are shocked. We are not. And we have to make note that some of the prettiest ladies are the worst wives, because you are focusing on being catered to, not catering to. The lack of skill set of catering to the person that you are with, knowing that it's a relationship, not one that he has to cater to you. And that's what happens a lot, because it's part of the pretty privilege that a lot of girls get when you're pretty, is that a lot of people in the outside cater to you, open the door for you, or say, madam, whatever. Hence, you get the perspective that that is how you should be treated within the context of a relationship. No, there's catering and activities that you have to even engage in. And that is just a serious thing that happens in a lot of relationships. That's why even you get a lot of glitches. Even a lot of ladies will say, guy, if Jay-Z can cheat on Beyonce, what about me? Where? It's not how we're looking. That's because you're looking at it in the sense that Beyonce is, because she's better looking than you, you're saying that indeed, because she has because you put it on a pedestal of beauty. Us, we're looking at it a whole different way. What aspects that did Jay-Z look at to go outside? Not necessarily on that. And then you've already put in your perspective that indeed a prettier girl walking in, she's inadvertently impossible to cheat on, because that's all a man would want. No, that's where you lose it. That's the beauty. Even the things that we're interested in are completely different. That's breaking news. Take that, swallow it, and sip some Samantha's wines.
Thank you. And I want to know, which girl do you call at lunchtime, and which one are you calling in the night?
Yes.
And that's you see, that's why men will tell you, a guy will date a chick for 4 years.
Yeah.
Beautiful, good career, nini. But they get married in a week. Meet the other one and say, I'm getting married. Because we understand.
Even you look like it's such a mind.
Yeah,
like,
we understand.
Peace of
Like
mind. Because peace of mind. Why are you shocked? That's peace of mind. We're looking for different things than you. You think we're looking for the beauty fan,
Who
like
wants a
someone's
woman?
eyebrows. We're looking at someone's
No,
house.
actually, I'm seeing myself. I dated dowry, meeting my parents, and it all happened in just a year.
See, you're the wife material that you're talking about. Yeah, now you're the wife
I
material.
proposed in 2 weeks actually, and I got like really, really scared. But okay, food was not part of it, because
No,
I cook well, but
many African families, food is so. You know, a husband is.
but you can have the
Caucasian.
talent to
Yeah.
get a really
No.
good cook.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It goes a long way.
It's going a long way. But
It goes a
many
long way.
African families, where we come from,
Yes.
food is key, because you feed many people.
Yeah.
They don't want you to get into that house
Yes.
and they walk in and they cannot find you giving them something presentable to eat.
Yeah.
And for men will never tell you, but a man is tired of going to eat outside all the time.
Yeah.
They can't afford. Men out here have a lot of things to do with their money. They need to build a house. They need to buy you a car.
School
They
fees.
need to school fees.
So many things.
So the moment you can find a woman who can cook and you guys eat in the house,
Easy.
you save a lot of money
And time.
and time. And that's why they go for those women who can cook.
Yeah.
And
And that's why
is
the
it-
beauty
let me-
standard is a very well endowed woman,
Yeah.
because you represent not only fertility and the procreation,
Abundance.
Yeah.
but nurturing. That means giving food is
Yeah.
part of the
It's
game.
part of it.
It's like, for example, I would compare it like this way. A woman who can cook is comparable to a man who actually has wealth.
Yeah.
It's comparable to that. That's the same way. Is that it's not everything, but it certainly has a lot to do with
offer.
everything.
Yes.
That
But
is
what
the
I
truth.
gotta say,
That
the
is the
modern
truth.
woman not only can cook, she's got wealth,
Yes.
and, and she's looking for a man with wealth too.
But that's true. Cheers to that. But anyway, you have any
It's been
punchline?
years, even if you're drinking water.
You have time for a punchline? See you?
Fake it until you make it. But remember, all the things you see in the gram are not real.
Ooh. Dr. C.
What I can say is that for the social media influencers, you don't not only have a moral and ethical duty to us, you also have a legal duty to fulfill when you're faking your life. So think about it. One day it will catch up, and when it catches up,
Takuramba.
If you're going to be asking for a DNA, also think about that child that is going to get involved, because mentally it might affect them.
That's key. And ladies, your man will cheat on you with an uglier woman, because that uglier woman she knows, she does something that
Are
you
you
don't
pointing
do.
Are you
at us?
pointing at us?
I'm just keeping it real. What is it?
I didn't even think he's
Am I
keeping
putting
it
it
real.
in? CEO, cheers to you.
Cheers.
You are
To the
keeping
woman who
it
can
real
cook.
with us.
Let me say,
He's keeping it real with us. That uglier woman, that uglier man.
I'm not.